Browns fans everywhere, and welcome to Dallas, Texas and Browns Pawdcast Weekly. You know, I was thinking of what I should name this show, a weekly show for Cleveland Browns fans, kind of go over the game from the previous week. And I thought maybe I'll call it Browns Breakdown Weekly. But the way the Browns broke down so weekly against Pittsburgh, I just thought maybe that wouldn't be such a great idea. So welcome to Browns Pawdcast Weekly, where each week we'll bring you news and notes and entertainment from the world of the Cleveland Browns backer. Hello? Yeah? What'd you say? Charlie's dehydrated? Or Charlie Fry's been traded? Oh man, well that's news. Who'd we trade him to? Seattle. Well, what did we get for him? A Starbucks kiosk for gate A at the stadium. A peanut vendor, to be named later. What else? Is that it? Oh, and a Jim Zorn bobblehead. Well, you know, after that game Sunday, his value is probably down a little bit. Maybe we're lucky to find anybody to take him, but, you know, we wish him the best. But, all right, well, thanks for the call. Bye. See you later. Fans, each week we're going to have a little feature here called the Jamal Lewis Yardage Watch. As you all know, back in 2003, as a member of the Ravens, Jamal ran for 295 yards in one game against the Browns in what was a purely ridiculous display of ineptitude by the Browns. He followed that up with a 205-yard game later in the year. So by my calculations, that's 500 yards in 2 games in 1 year for Jamal Lewis against the Browns. So what I've decided to do is kind of keep track of Jamal's progress as a Browns running back, see how many weeks it takes him to match that total of 500 yards as a member of the Browns. Here's the Jamal Lewis Yardage Watch chart. After 1 week, Jamal has 35 yards. 465 to go. How many weeks will it take? All right, Browns fans, now it's time to get serious! Back when the Browns came into the league in '99, and for the few years that followed that, they had bad draft after bad draft. They had so many early draft picks that end up looking back were just totally wasted. We like to think those days are over. In fact, last year's draft seemed really good. We got Joe Thomas, Brady Quinn, Eric Wright, and of those 3, 2 of them started Sunday with mixed results, but in each case there were some positives in the way that they played and hope for the future. If this team's ever going to get back to where we want it, it's going to take 2 or 3 good drafts. It's good to see Kellen Winslow on the field after 2 years of not playing due to a couple bad knee injuries, but he's back now and he's a force. Braylon Edwards, he's got talent. He will be a force in the future for the Browns, but we got to find somebody to get him the ball. Let's hope Brady's the guy. And I know you see Charlie come in there. I can't really blame the coaching staff for wanting to keep Brady out the first few games. They really are going to be tough games for the Browns. There's no sense throwing him to the Wolves so early in his career. Maybe wait till after the bye week and get him in there and let him get his feet under him a little bit with the system the Browns are using before you throw him out there against the likes of the Steelers and Baltimore and New England. It makes sense, but I think we got a bigger problem here. It's called fan apathy. I can't remember last time I saw a stadium opening day against the Pittsburgh Steelers where the place wasn't jammed. And as the game went on, it didn't take long for things to deteriorate. Next thing you know, that stadium's clearing out. By halftime, there was probably only 2/3 of the people still there. It's embarrassing as a Browns fan to see that happen. But at the same time, can you blame them? The same stuff over and over and over. Just poor, embarrassing play. It's got to change. So maybe the general manager, Savage, and Coach Crennel are going to have to look at this thing and say, you know, Sure, the fans have to understand this thing has to go in a certain way to work. We have to be patient with the young guys. But at the same time, they have to understand that the support of the fans, the vibe in the stadium, is an important factor in motivating the players. So if they hold back Brady Quinn too long, you're going to have fan apathy that's going to then wear off on the players. They're used to coming from big college programs where there's a lot of atmosphere in the stadium. They got the fans behind them. But they're going to come into Cleveland Stadium where there's a bunch of fans who are tired of this crap, and that is going to rub off on these guys. You got to make them feel like winners. You got to give the fans something to cheer about. And I would just as soon cheer for Brady Quinn in this situation, even if he's not doing as well, knowing that he's got to be better than what we've had. And I think he definitely has the talent to take this team where it wants to go. He's got a good supporting cast. The Browns have done what I think is the right thing recently in trying to build out an offensive line. It's just unfortunate that things happen like did to LaCharles Bentley. Nothing anybody can do about that. But the effort and the intent is there on the part of the Browns front office to build the offensive line. That's where it's going to start. And with Joe Thomas coming in and Eric Steinbach, the core is there for a good, solid offensive line. But then we have to start talking about the running back position. Here we go with another retread, Jamal Lewis. Maybe he's got some gas left in his tank. It's too early to tell. We're going to have to see about him. Problem is, in Sunday's game, it was an afterthought. The running game had no place in the game much for the Browns because there was no passing game to go with it. And they got behind so far, so early, they couldn't afford to run the ball. So obviously, the jury is still out on Jamal Lewis. But somewhere along the lines, the Browns are going to have to develop one or two frontline backs to get them where they want to be a complete team, a team that can rush the ball into the end zone. The lack of rushing touchdowns by the Browns team in recent years is an embarrassment. It's totally against the history of the Browns, totally against everything the Browns used to stand for when they were the team that we remember from years ago. Remember, Browns fans, if you think I'm wrong, let me know. Email me at brownspodcastweekly@yahoo.com. And thanks for watching. Well, that's all for this week, Browns fans. Appreciate you stopping by for the first episode of Browns Podcast Weekly. And I hope to see you here every week on YouTube Sports, live from Dallas, Texas. This is Ned Gildlom, your host, saying so long till later.